So I'm gonna, with the, remove the side cover. Bell wrench, you wanna break the Loctite loose. You just apply a steady pressure till you feel it snap loose a little bit, and then work it back and forth until the Loctite starts to give up. Come out pretty easily. And we'll just remove them completely. Get the other one. Might want to support it so it doesn't fall. Screws out. Take the ECU, lay it out here on the footboard so we can access the fuse panel. And next we're going to remove the fuse panel, which, as you can see, it sits up in the carrier. And as noted right here, it's you have to push here. It's just a little tab. So, if you push on that, that'll release the fuse panel. Just pull it down gently. And we're going to remove the fuel pump fuse and the ECM power fuses, which are both 15 amp fuses. It's clearly marked on the front. M fuse removed. It's safe to unplug the ECU from the wiring harness, which is done by depressing this tab, gently wiggling and pulling until you feel it come free. This is the seal that runs around the plug. It seals the connector to the ThunderMax ECU. And with the fuses still removed from the panel, I'm going to take the ThunderMax unit, line it up. You just want to wiggle it gently and let that seal do what it needs to do, or otherwise the seal can be distorted and water could get in the plug, and electronics don't like water. Once the ThunderMax is plugged into the bike, then you want to replace the two 15 amp fuses that were removed for the ECM power and the fuel pump. The schematic is right on the front of the ECM box, and if you just flip it up, you can see it's the front two. You want to make sure you put them back in the right place. You just reinstall the two fuses in the front corner. We just want to tuck the relay up inside, get it at the bottom of the slots, make sure it's flat, slide it back up, clicked in. You want to make sure it clicks in, it's in both slots so it doesn't fall down. This is a protective shielding. If it falls down, it can get water in your fuses. We can go ahead and mount the ThunderMax. Put the screw in. With the thing. And we'll snug them up. The next thing we'll be doing, take the data link, which is mounted right here, just sits in a clip, has a plug in it to keep any debris out when it's not being used, but we're going to utilize it. It's just a 4-pin Deutsch connector. You just want to push it together nice and slow till it clicks in, make sure the gasket's okay. And just do a little wire tuck in here. You can sit right back in its original caddy there. Do a little wire tuck in here. Now the auto tune can communicate through the data link. Okay, the two O2 sensor leads that come from the auto tune, clearly marked front and rear. The short one's the rear, the longer one is the front one. I'm going to take the front O2 sensor wire and run it around the frame. Receive it in front of the starter, just as you're fishing it through. You can tuck it down along the main wiring harness, then feed it down. I'm going to pull the lead down behind the exhaust and get it up over the brake light switch. Just lay it along the frame. I'm going to let it hang here for a minute until we get the O2 sensor in. We can come back and plug the front O-cylinder O2 sensor into that. The next step, we're going to replace the narrow band stock O2 sensors with our wide band sensors. The first thing we want to do is get them unplugged. The rear O2 sensor wire just lays down in here. It's got a little bit of slack on the harness. You can pull it up. See, it's pretty easy to get to. Once you get it up where you can get to it, just want to lift this up. You have to lift it up pretty far. It's a pretty good clip on there. Just give a little tug, comes right off. And then we're going to take the cap that we showed you earlier that comes in the kit and cover this up just to protect the original connector. The ThunderMax 02 does not, the ThunderMax ECM does not recognize this at all. This is just more of a cosmetic thing covered up so it doesn't look like something's laying around unplugged. And once we have that capped off, we can just push it down out of the way. And we're going to pull the rest of the wiring up, free it up from around the starter. We can just feed the wire to the other side of the bike.